half in the bag.
What the fuck is going on?
You're keeping her alive via electrodes that are attached to car batteries?
Mike, that phone's not even plugged into anything.
Oh boy, I have bigger problems than I thought.
Well, I have important news.
What's that?
Mike, there is another. Another Other. It's not a sequel to The Other, but it's very similar in a lot of ways.
And much like The Other, I was the guinea pig that watched this film first.
Hey man, I'm not gonna hurt you.
What?
What's going on?
Of course, we're talking about the new Pete Davidson horror film, The Home, which is a real thing that exists. Master of horror, Pete Davidson.
I have complex thoughts on this film.
This is another like hard mode bad movie. Where it's like people understand, like a normal person would watch The Room and be like, oh yeah, this is bad. Mm-hmm. This is one of those movies that I think a normal person would watch it and just be like, it's kind of a lame horror movie. But there's so much more to it. The mastermind behind the Purge movies made this.
Yes.
Which makes a lot of sense. Have you ever seen any of those?
No.
I think I've seen 2 of them, and I couldn't even tell you which ones I saw. I didn't see the first one. The first one was Ethan Hawke. And it was basically a home invasion movie, and the whole concept of the Purge is just sort of like in the peripheral. That's the setup. Mm-hmm. The sequels are all about the Purge. And I always thought it was such a dumb concept, but if you put it in the hands of like a Paul Verhoeven, and you make it like this absurd capital S satire, then it could be really interesting. But those movies are so dead serious, and they're so dumb.
I understand the concept of the Purge, and as a Paul Verhoeven-esque satirical dystopian concept. It's interesting, but it has to be kind of tongue-in-cheek because it's hard to accept a world where that logic would exist, where one night of the year you could do whatever you want, but the rest of the year you have to be lawful. So I've never seen any of those movies. Are they all shot weirdly with close-ups and shaky cams?
I was going to mention that with this movie. It's so claustrophobic. Back that camera up and turn on some lights, goddammit. But that's my complaint with every modern movie. Is cinematography is so murky.
Yeah, well, let's talk about, real quick, Pete Davidson.
Oh, okay.
Polarizing figure in pop culture. He was on SNL. Mm-hmm. He dated a Kardashian. He was on SNL very young. He still is very young. And then kind of dabbled in acting. He's done a bunch of stuff, some voice roles. And I think Pete Davidson has a kind of singular talent of being Pete Davidson. He has a natural quality to him of kind of being himself and pulling that off well.
Sure. Yeah, he has that kind of like affable, like, this is just who I am. I don't know. I'm awkward a little bit kind of quality.
I'm sure there's some other actor you could compare him to, but when it comes to acting in a horror film...
Keep him away.
Max, get your fucking hands off him!
There's a couple of lines in it where he kind of like reacts to something naturally, but this is a movie where the lead actor is required to do a lot of face acting, emoting, reactionary acting to very disturbing, horrible situations, confusing situations, and most of the close-ups of him are just kind of like him looking like that. Like
that's it. Mild confusion. It's one of those things where I have to assume they probably had like actors they wanted to try and get. They went down the list, said no. And someone in the production said, well, we can get Pete Davidson. And it's like, he's a name. All right, I guess we'll put him in the movie. It doesn't feel like the kind of choice that a creative person would want to go with.
The only thing I could think of, I have two thoughts here, is the doctor at one point mentions, he's like, you have beautiful eyes.
I have beautiful eyes. Quite large, you know. Thanks.
He has a big expressive eyes. That is, you know, a selling point for him. And also, if you go through the IMDb lists, the screenwriter of this movie had a minor part in Bupkis, a movie that Pete Davidson was in, like a drama. So there might be some sort of like friendship connection. I don't know.
Maybe they thought, you know what, it doesn't matter who we get in the lead, because what's going to sell this movie are the creepy visuals. The premise of the movie, we should set that up. Pete Davidson, he lives in like a foster home. He gets arrested, and they say, we can get you out of jail if you do community service at this old folks' home. So he goes to the old folks' home, and immediately spooky things happen. What's going on at the old folks' home? Creepy stuff, mystery.
Why does he get arrested?
He gets arrested because he's tagging a building. And they really make a point of him being an artist. And I assumed, because I've watched motion pictures before, that would have something to do with the rest of the story. The fact that he's an artist. We spend so much time showing him painting this wall, painting this building. And then when he gets to the old folks' home, there's an older lady there who is also an artist. And we show close-ups of her making her painting. I was like, oh, this is going to connect in some way.
Well, he connects with the other old lady who ends up being murdered for trying to spill the secret. He connects with her over art because her son and her got in a fight and he ripped a painting in half. And she's like, the left half of the painting had birds on it. So he painted her the bird half of the painting. And then she says, there's something weird going on with this place.
You need to get out.
The next scene, she flies out of the window and lands on a gate.
It seems like there would be an easier way to like take care of her than to publicly throw her out of the window of this old folks home. It's an old folks home. She died of being old. Like, they could have covered it up that way.
You know what would work best in an old folks home? Pillow over the face.
Sure.
She passed peacefully in her sleep. Pete Davidson. She passed peacefully in her sleep.
But that's not scary enough.
That's not scary, and that doesn't open that window of intrigue to his character to continue to investigate this further, which is what they don't want.
Even though there's already been like 15 windows of intrigue. That's another thing with this. This is like a case of how not to make a horror movie. The second he gets to that old folks home, creepy stuff starts happening. Like every single scene has something creepy happening. There's no like slow build up. There's no intrigue. Like that should be the first time we know anything sinister is happening, when that old lady is like, Pete Davidson, I gotta tell you, there's something wrong about this place.
I think one of the first scenes is he opens the door to one of the tenants' rooms and there's like an elderly couple having sex,
Wearing creepy masks.
Yeah, eyes wide shut style and doing some kind of, and then he's like, okay, I mean, maybe these old folks get freaky. And then the fourth floor, the mysterious fourth floor he's not supposed to go up to, is filled with like catatonic people that are bleeding from their eyes and drooling, and then also logically, hey, maybe that's a thing at old folks' homes. They don't know what to do with these people, so they just put them in wheelchairs on the fourth floor where they just drool and watch TV.
And occasionally scream violently. So it's like immediately he gets to the place, he looks in the window, sees creepy person in the window. Then there's the creepy sex scene. And then he of course has the most obnoxious trope in any horror movie, which is the fake out nightmare scene. They do like 3 or 4 of those. Where it's like the minute it starts, you're like, this is going to be a dream. He's just going to wake up. This is pointless, other than we have to have another spooky scene. Every scene has to be spooky. There's no buildup of spookiness.
This is like my pitch for The Inside.
Yeah, there's tons of red herrings.
Red herrings and...
Which, I don't know if I've ever seen this in a movie before. The amount of things that are set up, of mysterious, creepy things. And then the movie in the third act, which we'll get to, writes its own get-out-of-jail-free card that is so hilariously stupid, I couldn't believe it. I thought there was going to be a twist on top of it, but nope, that's just it. All those creepy things, they don't actually mean anything. We're just having a goof. All the old folks are just for fun. We're just doing these things. We're going to pretend there's a government conspiracy.
Beaumont is a subsidiary of the U.S. Department of Health Services. It means that the government is funding this entire facility.
The lady breaks in. He sees that woman on his laptop with the creepy face, and she's like, "You're the only person I can tell what's going on." And he's like, "How'd you get in my laptop, creepy face lady?" But then she shows up in his room, and she's like, "There's a government conspiracy where the government is funding these types of hospitals to do experiments on old people." And Pete Davidson is like, "'Cause no one would suspect old people."
They are experimenting on hundreds, if not thousands, of elderly people.
They're the perfect test subjects.
And I was like, okay, I guess that's the twist, is that this is a government experiment. But then we get to the real twist.
Yes, I remember now.
Where it turns out that whole scene, that government conspiracy lady was just acting. And this whole thing is just a lark that the old people are doing for fun.
It's all part of the grand tale we concocted to fuck with you for our entertainment while you nourished us at night.
It is set up by Bruce Glover early on, where he's like, we need to spend our time being fanciful and coming up with stories and plays, and because they're playing music in the big music room, and they're painting, and they're artists in this community, and they're creatives and whatnot. So that's mildly set up.
Just because it's set up doesn't mean it's not stupid.
No, it is stupid. It's a twist for twist's sake, I think.
Yeah. It's basically just an excuse to throw in whatever weird imagery or weird ideas you want, and then just like write it off completely.
Old people.
Yes.
They're the perfect test subjects.
I don't know. There was something about the clunky, awkward way this was filmed and put together as well, which just didn't sit right. Just all those weird close-ups and...
Because, yeah, you have this big, old-looking old folks' home. You want, like, slow, lingering, shining shots of the hallways.
Right.
Build some atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's what it never does.
That type of shooting and production works in the first, the first 10 minutes when they do the setup. Like, maybe a chaotic lifestyle that he's living. I think they have a really kind of gentle shot in the beginning. The news is on. They keep talking about this storm that's coming.
That's the other big thing that they set up.
The backstory is that he's a foster kid, and he had an older brother who was a foster kid who unalived himself. And, or that was the story.
That's what he's told.
And here, 20-something years later, he's still traumatized by that event, and because of that, I think maybe it's the anniversary of his unaliving. He goes out, and it looks like a Batman movie or something, or like Darkman. And he's up on the roof. He flies on the rooftop, and he's on a gargoyle with his coat's flapping in the wind, and he's like paint, and there's a foreshadowing of splattering. Spattering, whichever the term is, of the red paint as he's painting this really awesome mural, and then the police show up. If this is New York City, the police ain't showing up for that. Come on.
I don't think they say where it takes place, but
East Coast.
there's like a giant light blaring onto this rooftop the whole time he's painting, and it's a very intricate, detailed painting that he's doing.
This looks very dramatic, like a Tim Burton Batman movie with the lights, and there's a moon. I thought he was going to turn into a werewolf, just by the way it was shot, you know? It was very, or like The Crow.
Sure,
You know what I
gothic
mean?
and inappropriate for what we're seeing.
Yeah, the style of it. You have a very way of like taking all this like blathering that I say and succinctly bringing it down to like 4 words. I very much appreciate that. But that's kind of what it felt like. Not just him. I would have been like, okay, since the art thing didn't really pan out, you know, maybe he did some other crime, or he stole a painting off a wall in a diner because he thought it was great and they arrested him. Something simple, not this dramatic thing where he leaps up on a building and lands on a gargoyle. For some reason, he still connects with his foster parents, like young. He's well over 18.
Yeah, you would need this character to be like 17 years old for any of this to make any sense.
Yeah, that would have made more sense
If he still lived there.
Yeah, but he goes back to them for support because they're kind of all he has.
I guess.
So once he was done with foster care, he just kind of, I don't know, mopes around, smokes, and tags buildings.
Sure.
So then the parents make a deal, and it turns out they're in on the whole thing. And then it becomes Rosemary's Baby.
We're patting ourselves on our backs for the story we created and performed to have some fun with you.
This weird group of people in a building that have a weird thing going on that they're all conspiring towards with the newcomer.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Doesn't involve the devil, but it's similar.
It's more scientific than that.
Sure.
But that's again like the old lady to get rid of her. They do it in this like comical over-the-top way where they throw her out the building and she gets impaled on a fence. Their whole, should we just go into what the twist of the story is?
Yeah, this is a great time for an ad break.
Oh.
That will be demonetized because
we talked about Pete Davidson.
Well, thanks.
Pete Davidson gets us demonetized or not advertiser friendly. I don't think, have we sworn once?
I don't know.
I've said the right words I'm supposed to say, unalived and all that.
Oh, they changed the words. You can't say that anymore. Now you have to say, stop existing.
His brother Kermit Sewer Slide. So yeah, I think we're okay at this point. So let's pause for a moment here, and we're going to come back with spoilers for The Home, in case you have not seen this film yet.
Which you haven't.
And I don't know why the hell we're talking about it.
What did you say?
So our other characters in the film are the 2 orderlies, the doctor, and then we have our cast of main elderlies. The 2 biggest stars are John Glover, who you might recall from Gremlins 2.
Dracula.
Daniel Clamp himself.
Daniel Clamp, and Ethan Phillips, who is Neelix.
These people are natural-born idiots, if you ask me.
So the doctor, we introduce him, and he makes a creepy comment about Pete Davidson's lovely eyes. Something's off about him right away. And then the orderlies are both very mean to Pete Davidson.
Like immediately.
Immediately.
The first time he meets them,
Cute. Who's that, your boyfriend?
he's like, was that your boyfriend? It's like the first thing they do to him.
And ultimately, the idea of the movie is they need Pete Davidson for a specific function, which we'll get into. So being hostile towards him seems antithetical or not something that's smart to do.
Some would say pointless.
Just follow the rules. and we won't be obliged to report you.
Pointless? Yeah, they should be incredibly kind to him and lure him into a false sense of security in order to betray him.
Everything in this old folks' home should look like squeaky clean and pleasant, and everybody there is happy. And that's how you start. And then the cracks start to form.
Yes. Instead of creepy and disturbing right from the get-go. Because someone who's there on a prison work release, who has committed a crime, is more likely to stay and not just say, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to welcome him in.
Yeah.
You want to treat him well. Oh, this is a great place.
It's time to play by the rules, Max.
Sorry, Doc. It won't happen again.
What you really needed was a single mother who's down on her luck, who has to pay for her child's cancer treatment. So she takes a job at a retirement home. And even though it's disgusting and miserable job, she sticks with it because she has to. Just throwing a quick idea out there.
Sure.
For motivation and stakes. You know, like, I gotta stay here. I woke up one night and the doctor was in my room trying to put a needle in my eye, and you know, but I just need the money. Now I feel for that character. I don't really feel for Pete Davidson.
No, he has so little reason to stay there that halfway through the movie he does just run away.
He does just run away.
He finally has had enough after too many creepy things, and he just leaves.
Then we get another twist when he returns to his foster home, and his foster parents are in on it.
Well, he gets back to his foster home, and there's two little foster girls there. And that's another, like, cliche you check off the list. Creepy girls. One of them doesn't talk. Check. We got that in the movie now, too. And they're like, there's a secret room upstairs. We're going to show it to you, Pete Davidson, who we have just met 5 seconds ago. So they open this little room, and it's a little shrine with all these trinkets and photo albums. And that's when we learn, oh, whatever creepiness is going on at the old folks' home, my foster parents are in on it. Because here they are in all these photos at some sort of weird gala event that they take a professionally taken photograph with their victim every year.
It's like The Shining.
It's like that, yeah, it's like the end of The Shining, but that's just the people in a ballroom on New Year's Eve. This is like a creepy, clandestine gathering of people doing something heinous, but they take a nice professional photo with somebody like tied to a chair.
Do you know the meaning of the word clandestine? The actual definition of clandestine is always photograph in detail your crimes.
And store it in an unlocked room in a house filled with children.
Why are those people storing it? They don't even live at the retirement home.
Well, because Pete Davidson had to go home and had to find it so he could find out that his parents were in on it.
Shouldn't it be in like a locked safe in the basement of the old folks' home? Another kind of stupid thing too was, so the old lady that he befriends, who he paints the second half of the picture for, the lady they throw out the window, she's concerned for Pete Davidson. She likes him. She doesn't want him to get the needle in the eye. So she gets murdered for that, and then they clear out all of her stuff. But earlier in the scene, for some reason, Pete Davidson walks into her apartment, and he looks down for his mark. When he finds his mark, then he looks down again and immediately picks up this little tiny trinket.
Oh, I think you dropped something.
It's nothing that would even catch your eye. I wouldn't even look. I would just be, oh, there's something on the floor. But he picks it up and he's like, and then oh, that's the thing my best friend gave to me. And he's like, okay.
Okay.
And he puts it on the shelf. Then when they clear all the lady's stuff out, they're going to incinerate it all. He goes down in the basement. He wants to find the half of the painting he painted, but then he finds that little thing.
I guess I'll keep this little nondescript item.
That she said, oh, her friend gave it to her. Not that it was the most important thing ever. Then he puts it in his pocket, and then it's still in his pocket when he comes back to his house.
That one there is exactly the same as the one you had.
And he takes it out and looks at it, and there's multiple ones that, you know what I was going to say, you know what it probably is probably where it would be where they put an eyeball in that little dish. That would have been kind of cool if they have to remove the eyeball.
So you're saying if that little trinket that was set up served a purpose in the story?
Yes. Yeah. What am I thinking? So the premise, if you're confused what we're talking about, the premise is there's a gland behind your right. Is this my right? Your right eyeball. There's a secret gland, and it's like the fountain of youth.
Science dismisses it as just a gland.
Idiots.
They call it the nectar. Mm-hmm. So you shove a needle in, then you suck out the nectar. But distributing the nectar to others keeps you young.
Yeah.
It doesn't de-age you like a fountain of youth. It just makes sure you don't grow any older, like being a vampire.
Mm-hmm. So that's the idea, is that the foster home, they basically provide this old folks home with new people to work there every year, every few years.
Whenever they need that nectar.
So, yeah, I guess. But so all the old people that are up on floor 4, it turns out those are rapidly aged people that they've extracted the nectar from, including Pete Davidson's brother.
Yes.
Luke. My brother.
Now, all the old folks in the old folks' home, to keep life interesting and spicy, every victim that comes in to work at what is an old folks' home, put on a show.
For the story we created and performed to have some fun with you. We did it for fun!
Their big show was that they were all living in a retirement home, even though it was a retirement home. Mm-hmm. It would be more interesting if they moved around locations. Like, we're all people that, work in this video game arcade.
Mm-hmm. And less conspicuous.
Less conspicuous.
Hey, every time the old folks' home hires a new orderly, that orderly disappears. That's unusual.
Yes. Like 10 years ago, they were a traveling circus.
Sure.
20 years ago, they, worked at a carnival. Mm-hmm. They were a tour group that ran a company that gave you rode the boat around Niagara Falls. Every year that they needed nectar, they would come up with some wacky scenario, move across the country, adopt new personas, get costumes, and all 10, 20 of them all had their own little roles in this grand story, but every year they're at the same place. So yeah.
Well, it's because the movie's called The Home, and it's about a spooky old folks' home, and they didn't think any of it through. Why even keep once they extract the nectar, why even keep all those people there? I guess they get the nectar again later, so every year they still extract nectar from these rapidly aged people? So why do they need new ones?
No, okay, so the ending is, I think, I don't know if they explained it, but I think the body continues to produce the nectar. Mm-hmm. So here's my thoughts. Let's get to the ending.
Okay, this is the big exciting ending.
Yes, they're doing the ritual. It's Rosemary's Baby ending, where they have a big party and they're all dressed in formal wear.
They take their professional photograph of them with their victim and all the evidence. Yes.
Yes. And then they're about to stick the needle in Pete Davidson's eye, and I thought something was going to save him at the very end. But nothing does. They withdraw the nectar, and then they throw him upstairs. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't rapidly age.
No.
So my thoughts were they collect people over and just keep them up on the 4th floor, and every now and then extract nectar, which ages them more rapidly than regular aging. So maybe like 2, 3, 4 years from now, Pete Davidson would look like a 90-year-old man.
Sure.
Because then once Pete Davidson realized what happened, he then gets a needle and he extracts nectar from the eyes, or the brother does.
The brother does.
The brother does it for him, and puts it into a cup, and I guess you drink the nectar.
Yeah.
And so then Pete Davidson gets...
The fact that the brother knows to do that means that every time they perform this procedure on someone, they explain their whole operation to them, I guess.
Or just drank the nectar right in front of them and said, this keeps us young.
Yeah. Seems like you wouldn't want your victim to know what's going on. But...
No. So.
Oh, also, we should point out, while this is happening, while the older aged brother is now extracting all the nectar from all these other old people, the storm has shown up.
Okay, that's when the storm shows up.
Yeah, the storm has showed up.
The brother went around and sucked nectar out of all the eyes of all these people in a catatonic state, put it all in a glass, and Pete Davidson's just like, oh, because, he just had the procedure done. He makes him drink the nectar, which gives him super youth.
Yeah. Brings all of his energy back.
It brings all of his energy back and gives him...
It's like a Crank movie.
Yes. Then... Instead of just breaking everyone out of the facility and procuring a car and driving everyone to the local police station to explain to them what's going on, even though it would be a difficult thing to explain, he goes on a bloody, murderous rampage.
Max is coming! Max is killing you!
And kills everyone.
There's 40, 50 people in this facility, and I guess he gets all of them, except, coincidentally, his foster parents are there. Even though they don't live there, they just happen to be there at that time. I guess it's because they just did the ritual. So they get out of the building unscathed, but coincidentally, they get murdered by the hurricane. That was the biggest laugh for me. I mean, this whole ending is absurd. And that's it almost feels like they had this idea for an ending, and they're like, I guess we have stuff happen up until then, just so we can get to this ending.
What do we do?
What do we do?
What the fuck is going on?
So was Pete Davidson just like the guy in Crank? Was he just fueled by nectar to such a level where he could not control? He became the Incredible Hulk, and he could not control his anger and revenge to kill all these vampires, essentially.
Sure.
And he just wanted to slaughter them all.
The movie does not suggest that this is the case, by the way.
It does not. It does not. It could have easily. He goes, his pupils dilate, and the brother goes, no, Pete Davidson, calm down. We have to contact fuck the authorities.
Oh no, he's too amped up.
He's too amped up. You gave him too much nectar. And then he just punches the door off, and then you have, but in order to introduce that, you have to deal with the consequences later. Of which there are no consequences.
No, it's a happy ending.
To his murderous rampage. So Pete Davidson allegedly made the choice to go on a murderous rampage. So your options are use your power. I mean, maybe I'm talking screenwriting ways. Your options are he uses his strength to and you got the storm coming too.
Yeah.
And so the building kind of falls apart and all the vampires get trapped in a room. And Pete Davidson says, I have so much nectar, I'm going to push this wall down and we're all going to escape. Something where the nectar gives him the upper hand now, when before they had it. And then let's all get in the big community van that we drive around in, and I'm going to drive us to the police station, blah, 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 explain them all what happened.
Sure.
Or he goes after the doctor, or somehow discovers that a nectar overdose or lack of nectar will kill them, to where he uses his intelligence, or he learns about it to kind of outsmart them.
Yeah. What if instead of all that, we just have Pete Davidson stab Neelix in the stomach?
Neelix is dead.
I'm afraid so.
There's a lot of different ways to resolve it other than an outrageously over-the-top bloodbath.
Yeah.
That seemed very childish,
It is interesting, though, that this came out the same year as Weapons, which, minor spoilers for Weapons, but that also ends in a very satisfying death of the villain of the film, which also kind of is like surprising because the tone of the movie is not led up to that. It works completely in that movie, and that movie is also about an old elderly feeding off of youth. So it's basically the same movie.
Yeah, basically the same movie.
Yeah, it just goes to show what difference in execution can do.
And writing.
And writing, and acting, and cinematography.
and intelligence.
And yeah, in plotting, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Is what you're trying to say. It did everything.
There's a lot of things in Weapons where it's like they set something up in the movie and then it pays off later in the movie. That's a good movie, that Weapons.
It's the perfect example of laughing with and laughing at.
Yeah, yeah.
But I certainly laughed out loud quite a bit during the big explosion of violence.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
not for the reasons like Weapons. Again, you get to that ending and it's like this is the perfect release of everything the movie is set up. And this movie, you're like, wait, what?